Throughout the long winters of the American frontier, when the wind howled across the endless prairie and snow buried fence posts and memories alike, people told one another stories of love. Love that did not wither when crops failed, nor fade when hope grew thin. Among those whispered tales is the story of Samuel Carter and Eliza Mae, a story of romance, of a promise made beneath a winter star, and the quiet endurance that followed. In a small prairie settlement where the horizon stretched wide and merciless, Samuel and Eliza had grown together like twins rooted in the same soil. They chased fireflies in the tall summer grass, learned their letters beside the same pot-bellied stove, and shared dreams beneath skies so vast they seemed to belong to another world. Samuel was steady, even as a boy, strong without arrogance and kind without display. Eliza carried a gentleness that softened even the hardest seasons. Her laughter was never loud, yet it lingered long after it faded, like the warmth of sunlight on cold wood. When they came of age, their affection needed no grand declaration. It lived in small acts, in the way Samuel mended her mother's fence without being asked, and how Eliza served him the first slice of fresh-baked bread in autumn. Their love was patient, as the prairie itself. But one winter came colder than any before. The wind arrived early, sharp as broken glass, and by mid-season frost had strangled the last of the stored crops. Livestock perished. Wheels began to freeze solid, and the settlement that had endured drought and dust now faced a slow white starvation. Whispers traveled from cabin to cabin that help must be found from the rail town 3 days east. Yet the journey across open, frozen land would test even the strongest rider. Samuel saw the fear behind the town's brave faces, and he knew what he must do. He promised Eliza he would return before the next full moon. And she, though her heart trembled, did not beg him to stay. For love that demands safety over sacrifice is not love, but fear. The morning he left, the sky was pale and merciless. Eliza walked with him to the edge of town, snow crunching beneath their boots. Samuel hugged her and pressed into her palm a small silver button from his coat, a token not of possession, but of promise. And Eliza watched until his horse was swallowed by white silence. Days passed, then weeks. The frost deepened, and so did the murmurs. Some said no man could survive such cold. Others insisted that waiting was foolish, that Eliza was young and must think of her future. But each night she climbed the low ridge beyond town and looked eastward, as if her gaze alone could shorten the distance. It was on the 12th night that a star appeared, low and luminous, unlike any she had seen before. It burned steady against the black sky, neither flickering nor wandering, and something within her stirred. The oldest widow in town spoke of such a star once seen generations past, a light that tested the hearts of those who called upon it, granting mercy only to those who proved patient and pure of motive. Beneath that winter star, Eliza made no dramatic plea. She did not bargain nor demand. She simply whispered that if her love was true, then let it be preserved. And if not, let her bear the sorrow without bitterness. Far from the settlement, Samuel fought battles no one would ever fully know. Blizzards drove him off course. Once he gave his only blanket to a stranded trapper, choosing to press on through the night with chattering teeth. Hunger gnawed at him, yet he shared what little remained with a widow and her son sheltering in an abandoned barn. More than once he could have turned back, telling himself he had done enough. Yet love does not count the cost when others depend upon it. he finally got to the rail town. There he found the depot nearly closed, supplies scarce, and men unwilling to risk the return journey. But Samuel's quiet resolve moved them. He spoke not of heroism, but of families, of children and elders waiting. And something in his unwavering steadiness stirred compassion. At last wagons were loaded with flour, medicine, and coal, and though the return would be slower, they set out across the frozen prairie. Back in the settlement, doubt pressed against Eliza like the winter wind. There were moments when loneliness whispered cruel lies, that she had been forgotten, that their promise could not survive in cold. Yet each time her heart wavered, she remembered the star and chose patience over panic, kindness over complaint. She helped mend neighbors' roofs, shared her dwindling firewood, and spoke hope when others surrendered to fear. For love is not merely waiting, it is serving, even in absence. The full moon came and went, and still Samuel had not returned. Her friends urged Eliza gently to accept what might be inevitable, but she did not argue nor accuse. She simply continued to wait, rooted in faith. Then, one dawn, as pale light spread across the snow, a distant shape appeared against the horizon. At first it seemed a trick of weary eyes, yet the shape multiplied, resolving into wagons, horses, and weary figures pushing forward through drifts. When the first cry went up across the settlement, Eliza did not run. She walked to meet them. And when Samuel at last stepped down from the lead wagon, thinner, frost-bitten, but alive, he grabbed Eliza in a warm embrace. Their eyes met in a silence beyond words. He placed his weathered hand over her waist, and in that moment of reunion was filled with deep love and gratitude. The supplies saved the town. The winter did not vanish overnight, but survival was assured. And as days lengthened and the cruel frost loosened its grip, the mysterious star slowly faded from the sky. Some claimed it had never been there at all. Others insisted it had shone brighter the night before the wagons arrived. Samuel and Eliza were wed in the first bloom of spring. Their love was no longer merely youthful affection, but something tempered, refined, tested by time itself. They built a home where laughter returned and told their children of their love tale. So when the nights grow long and the sky seems silent, remember this story. For stories such as these teaches the way of love. It is patient. It is kind. It does not envy nor demand. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things, and in that endurance finds its miracle. And if this tale has stirred your heart, share it so that others may remember what true devotion looks like. Remain with us here at Amewican Tales, where the oldest virtues still shine brightest against the dark.